Thanks for clicking on this video. If you want to see how I got skin like this, then just keep watching.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.
Okay, so I'm going to get started. I already primed my skin. So I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Foundation. It's one of my favorites. I have many favorite foundations, but this one being one of my top 5, I want to say. For the skin prep, I just used the Embryolisse Lay Concentrate, and I'm just going to go in center of my face and just kind of buff it outwards. I don't want too much coverage all over the skin, so I went in with my moisturizer still being a little bit damp. Embryolisse is both a moisturizer and a primer in one, and it's a makeup artist top pick. I actually just tried it for the first time last week. Yeah, last week for my makeup, and it easily has become a game changer for me. I definitely prefer to use this instead of like two-stepping it with a moisturizer and then a primer. And I mean, most of the time I do tend to just use moisturizer anyways and not really worry about two-stepping it. I just don't like too many layers, otherwise I feel like it's too suffocating, if you will. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the Boing under eye concealer. So I find that I like to leave this concealer sit. I've been kind of playing with how to use this concealer, right? A little bit of hyperpigmentation there. So I got the concealer back when I was working for Sephora, and I mean, definitely thought it was too light for me, but I don't think so anymore. But I do like how sheer the coverage is. Just light texture, buffs in really beautifully with a sponge. I don't feel like I see a whole lot of texture. Like it's very smoothing almost. It's supposed to be a cakeless, creaseless. Let me look. Cakeless concealer. Doesn't say creaseless. Cakeless, I agree. Creaseless, I don't really agree. I feel like it does crease quite a bit, but you know, nothing a tiny bit of powder can't fix, right? This is my typical concealer placement. I've never been one to use a whole lot of concealer. I just don't like a lot of product around the eye area, especially as I'm getting older. Too much product, it builds up, it gets really thick looking, and then it requires more powder to set it and keep it in place. And then the amount of powder that seems to be required to set this, it makes me look older because it pulls all those emollients out of the concealer, and it looks awful. So this is how I do it. This is the look so far. So now I'm going to powder. I'm going to use my favorite powders. One of my favorite powders. I like too many powders. Halo Glow Setting Powder by e.l.f. It's one of my favorites. I just like the texture. You know, the ultra fine milled texture that you get from the powder. It's just very comfortable. And I like to take it on like a crease brush that's kind of domed, and I just like to work it in to the skin little by little. I don't like to take a big powder brush and like go all over my face. I feel like it's overkill. I feel like it's too much, and I don't necessarily want powder on my eyelids and in my hair. I just like to control. But I'm just very light, like light hand. I'm at the end of my brush here. I'm just using a very light hand to kind of get rid of any excess shine. I like this powder too because I feel like it has a little, I wouldn't say it's a perfecting powder. I wouldn't dare to go that far, right? But I would dare to say that it does some pore tightening and like skin refinement. I am going to use a little bit of a larger brush just to kind of do like a finishing moment. This is the Sigma Spotlight Duster. So I'm taking the e.l.f. Listen, I like the e.l.f. powder, okay? It works for the dry skin. Taking the e.l.f. e.l.f. HD powder, and I use this one more like a finisher than I do a setting powder. So this is the HD powder in Soft Luminance. So I like to kind of use those two off of each other. The other one's more of like a nude color, and then the other one's a nude color, and then the Soft Luminance is like a shiny reflective powder, not super reflective. And then it has a little bit of a pink tone to it, which tends to go really well with my skin complexion. I'm going to use the Melt Stack. I don't know why I didn't buy this sooner. I just started using it like 2 days ago, and I love it. And I'm always on the look for good bronzer and contour. Because I feel like whenever I use either, they're just not right for me. But I will warn you that this specific product, you definitely do need to set the face first before you go in and use these products, because they're really pigmented, which, duh, go figure, it's Melt Cosmetics. But I just like to press the contour. Well, this is bronzer. I like to press any powders into the skin more so than doing swiping motions. I just feel like once I lay down the product, I'm building layers, right? I don't want to risk lifting and pulling those layers and moving them about. I want them to stay exactly where I set them, you know what I mean? So it's just really smooth. It's smooth like butter. And I mean, it's hard to explain because powder is powder, you know, like it's not creamy, but this powder does have like a creamy feel to it, so I've definitely grown to love it. So I like to go in this area, my temple, which is kind of like directly above the arch of my brow, or tail of my brow. I know what I'm saying. And just press it into the skin, work it in. And it just creates like this nice, beautiful warmth. And then I'll take whatever's left over and kind of dust it back. But I don't want too much. Like I said, the forehead, it really doesn't need much. And I'm gonna take it. It's a crease brush, it's an eyeshadow brush, but I don't care about that. It's a blending brush, so it's like flat, but it's kind of wide, so I like to use this for my nose. So I'm gonna pick up just the tiniest bit of product, and I'm going to start kind of in the width here, more inwards on the inside, and then work it to go to the front of the nose. So for the nose, I do also like to do the same thing, which is pressing into the skin. I don't like swiping. I feel like the nose area, it doesn't hold product as well as the rest of the face. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the problem, but that's how I feel. I feel like when I do the scrubby motions or the windshield wiper motions on my nose, it just lifts all the product up and it looks so bad. But you can kind of see I'm creating a triangle like this, so that way I can go in from this direction and create a triangle like this. So I will be cinching the nose. And I feel like I'm gonna get asked, there's a possibility that I'm gonna get asked why I'm not using a contour color. Reason being, for some reason, when I do a contour color, like a straight out cool tone on the front of my face, it just doesn't, it makes me look really dead. It doesn't look right. So we're not gonna do that. And then I'm just gonna dust a little bit of bronzer there and underneath, just to kind of warm up the skin a little bit. And now I'm gonna use the contour color. So this was the bronzer shade. It's kind of perfect, you know? It's not too yellow, it's not too orange. And then this is the contour shade, so you can really tell the difference. For anyone that is ever confused about the difference between contour and bronzer, this is bronzer, it's warmer. Contour is meant to be cooler, so it's meant to like recreate shadows, the effect of shadows. I feel like bronzer and contour are the most misunderstood things in the beauty world. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Sigma Soft Blend Concealer brush. I'm gonna pick up the product on the brush and then kind of press off what I don't need on the back of my hand. And then I'm just gonna press where the hollow of my cheek is, but a little bit higher, but not too high. And just more pressing motions. I just want to create this blend of warmth to cool. So bronzer here, and then the contour directly underneath, slightly being blended upwards towards the bronzer. And you can easily just go back in with the bronzer and just go over the top to kind of create that seamless blend. Let's see. Yeah, that's perfect, I think. Just don't want too much of that contour. I went too crazy with this contour the first time I tried it, and it was not pretty. I mean, it was pretty, it just wasn't my vibe. I'm gonna take this bronzer, this contour, creates a pouty bottom lip, what can I say? I'm gonna take a tiny bit of contour for my nose. Tiny bit. And not to overpower the foundation I've laid. See, beautiful shadow, warmth, doesn't take away from anything. I mean, you can just leave it like this and pop on mascara and it looks good. Like, it doesn't look overdone, and this is usually how I like my skin to look. A little bit dewy, not too much, not too little, but I love highlight a lot. But just for the sake of those of you that were just curious about my very basics, because like I said, working as a makeup artist and then working at a counter and just life to life in general, I get asked many times when I do wear makeup what I'm doing. So this is just the very basics. I am gonna add blush and highlight because in the next video I'm going to be doing a smoky eye. But I'm just gonna go straight into the next item here, which I'm going to be using the Pure Color Envy Alluring Rose by Estee Lauder. It's like a nice, ooh, hold on. It's a nice, fuck you, kind of neutral rose tone, which I think is gonna go really well with a nice grungy smoky eye. I love a good grungy smoky eye. That's all I'm saying. I don't necessarily like to do blush on the apples of my cheeks. I tend to like to go a little bit further here, so I scrunch my face up like this, a fake smile, and I like to go kind of in this area here. And more pressing motions. I'm telling you, I don't like windshield wiper swipey, swippy movements on my face. And then for the effect, a little bit over my nose. Not too much. It just pulls it all together. I do like to do that whole TikTok blushy nose. I think it's cute, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just doing my casual complexion. Okay, and I like to put a little bit on my chin. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do something. I forgot to contour my jawline. Hold on. I knew I was gonna do that. I always forget to do that. Like, always. I don't know why. It's so annoying. Okay, so really quick. I'm going to take the contour shade, okay? And I'm going to use an angled cheek brush, and I'm gonna load up the product on the angled cheek brush. And I'm going to take it from my chin and swipe downwards, okay? And then I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna go and follow my jawline. And then follow my jawline. I've never been a fan of doing the line from here to here with the bronzer or the contour, whatever. I felt like it always looked so artificial. And I hated it always. So I like to do it like this. The majority of the product is under the chin, and I will kind of blend it upwards, but not too much. See, I did a little too much right there. Hold on, let me brush that out. We see it created like a nice shadow. Like, it's not too much, it's the right amount. And then what I like to do is I like to go behind my ear and go like that. So behind my ear and then down. And a little bit, draw a little bit, like whatever's left over, to the front of the jaw. So I'm creating the shadow effect without creating that like harsh line that you get that's really hard to blend out. Can't stand it. And then I will take a little bit of the bronzer shade, okay? And I will do a little bit on the side of the neck to kind of create that illusion of warmth on the neck, and it'll kind of slim out the neck. And you can kind of like pull that forward. You see where I don't even know the names of these. Like this thing. I think it's like an artery or something. These things, those things. I like to kind of draw the product so you can see there. Inwards. It's like a triangle here, right? The point is you don't want a lot of product. You want it to look like an illusion. Like, is she wearing makeup there or not? Like, you don't want people to wonder even if there's makeup there. You just want it to be soft. But I like the finished polished look it gives. Okay, so my last step that I haven't done yet is the highlighting. So I'm going to highlight, but I'm going to use the Nicole Guerrero palette. I love this palette. I feel like it caters to me year round. I feel like it looks the best on me out of all the highlighting palettes. I have this one, and then the Glow, the Dream Glow Kit. I had to look at it so I could remember the name. The Dream Glow Kit. These are my two favorite palettes that I own. But I just like how this one looks on my skin. It just looks the best. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna go in with the shade Forever Young. It's this taupe shade here, right here. I'm choosing this color because it's gonna go with the eye look that I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna coat the brush, and I'm actually just gonna go here, right on top of where I did my blush, and the top of my cheekbone. And then I like to kind of gradually blend down a little bit, and then I will go back in with my blush and kind of blend them together like eyeshadow. Same idea, right? Not that hard. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of the brow bone. Not too much because I'm gonna end up needing to lay product there. But I'm not gonna go into the temple. I'm gonna leave the temple alone. I'm just kind of dragging it into this like C shape. I think it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful shade. This palette tends to serve, I feel like, light medium to even possibly tan skin tones. Like, I do feel like if you're fair, there's like two shades in here that would work for you, like Kitty Cat and Forever Lit. I feel like the rest tend to go better with a deeper-ish, not deep, I want to just say light medium to medium tan maybe, skin tone. Like, I remember when the palette launched, I slept on it because I thought, oh, I don't need another palette. But then I swatched a tester when I was working for, I think it was Sephora. I don't remember. I think I was working for Sephora, and they relaunched it again. And I remember I bought it so fast. I didn't walk, I ran. Like, I bought it because I swatched it and I realized that nothing had been more meant for me and my skin tone than this palette. So I'm just doing a little bit on the bridge, a little bit over the blush that's on my chin, but not too much. And I think that's about it. I'm not gonna do my setting spray or anything like that, just reason being I'm gonna do eyeshadow, and if I do the setting spray then it'll kind of create a little tackiness, and I don't want fallout to stick to my face. If there's any fallout, I don't know, I've never used the palette I'm gonna use, so we'll see. So that concludes this video. This is the final look for my skin. If you did like and enjoy watching this video and watched it all the way through, then please let me know in the comments below what you learned, what you liked, maybe one of the products I used that you loved, or a recommendation that you'd recommend me to try. And any interactions that I get with this video would be really, I would be really grateful for. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will be making more content in the future, the very, very near future. Blah, blah, blah. the very, very near future. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.